much. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for coming in person or online. Today, we will talk about the water crisis in Jordan. Why? Because this crisis is not happening in the future. It is current. It is the water resources in Jordan is under a huge pressure. It is shrinking very rapidly, and according to the global water poverty line, the country considered a poor country in water if it has less than 1,000 cubic meter per capita, and very poor if it's 500 cubic meter by capita. And Jordan now reach in 2023, unfortunately, it reached 123 only. So think about it. If you live in such a country, you need to rationalize your use of water. For example, I just give very simple example to understand to what extent it's a crisis. So the statistics shows that UK household, the average use of water, daily use, it is 500 liter. Whereas in Jordan, it is 40 liter only, which is 8% of what a household use in the UK. And that's another story that I just was searching. What is a household? Because household in the UK is 4 people, but in Jordan they didn't say what is it. Is it 4 people? But definitely it will be 6+. So it's more people with very tiny amount of water. In the major cities, the water comes every one week. If you are a little bit on the outskirts, it comes once every 2 weeks. And certain areas, it comes possibly every few months. The running water, from the municipality. So it is a huge problem. So that, of course, the natural question now will, why Jordan reached such a crisis? And there is no one reason lead the country to reach to this. It is a multi-layered, multi-dimensional problem, and we can put them under few titles. The first one is the limited water resources in Jordan. So most of the water, fresh drinking water in Jordan are non-renewable resources, so they are finishing. Plus, most of the surface water and underground water, they are transboundary in nature. And it's either, for example, River Jordan, which shared with Palestine and Israel, or the Yarmouk River, which is coming from Syria, or the DC Basin, which is also shared with Saudi. And the reality, unfortunately, that Jordan is the weakest part with the 3 neighboring countries. So their share is the smallest, and they are the least in control of these. The second factor to this crisis is the population growth. So in addition to the natural growth of the population, Jordan also hosting a huge waves of refugees from Iraq and Syria, which make it nowadays almost 30% of the population in Jordan are refugees. So if you look to the population of Jordan in the 90s, for example, just 2 decades, it was less than 5 million. And currently it is like 10, 11 million. So it doubled in a very short time. The other factor also, the climate change. Of course, the increase of the temperature makes the evaporation rates higher, and the rainfall is less, makes the environmental degradation is a very noticeable in Jordan. The other thing is the agricultural sector. Jordan depends a lot on its agriculture for its national income, and to meet the demands of the markets. However, this consume nearly 60% of the water in Jordan. And the last kind of layer of problem is mismanagement and misgovernance. And unfortunately, there is no clear strategy or policies. There is lots of problems in the infrastructure, leakage, illegal connections, and so on and so forth. So all of this, sometimes they say in certain areas, the waste of water, the amount of wasting water is reached 40% between in the journey to the houses. So from the source till it reach the people, they waste 40% on the journey, which is massive amount. So what is the solution to this crisis, which Jordan is working on it to be fair since decades? They are trying to mitigate the impact of this problem and to try to find alternatives. So if you look to the general discourse in the country, you find it they speak in almost under three categories of solution. So for example, the first one about the insufficiency, when they are speaking about the insufficiency of water, so the natural thing is to increase the supply. So when you increase the supply, so you need to extract more from the underground water, which is also has its negative side. They are trying the country to increase the water harvesting, which is collecting the rain and to treat the wastewater, for example, and use it in the agriculture, and also trying to establish a desalination center so they can use the seawater. So these kind of issues about the increase of the demand. If we look to the other solution, which deals with mismanagement, so they're trying, for example, to, especially in the agricultural sector, so they are trying to increase the prices, so to oblige the farmers to use water less, to provide more technology which make the irrigation using less water, encouraging the farmers to change the types of crops, so which needs less water than, for example, watermelon or this kind of thing, which is very popular nowadays in Jordan, and also taking care of the infrastructure. The third one, which is regarding the misgovernance. So Jordan is trying now to come up with a holistic strategic plan where they can better collaborate with different stakeholders to increase the public awareness and to increase the efficiency of using the water. And they are using, in this kind of category, they are working with the media, with the journalists, with the education sector, where they embedded lots of messages in the textbook for the students, and working with the faith leaders and mosques and churches. So I found that possibly there is little, if any, research evaluating the role of the faith leader and faith organization in increasing the public awareness. And this is what I'm trying to do, especially after knowing that a journal, international organization, development organization called GIZ, which has working with so many partners all over the world for sustainable development, and they have a few projects in Jordan working mainly for the water issue, working with the government and and one of their projects is working to increase the efficiency of the use of water, working with the faith leaders and faith organizations. So this project is started in Jordan since 2015. So I wanted to see what the people of faith leaders, or they really have done. What is their own evaluation? How they can, what messages they are sending, and what can we learn from all of this? So I am using a different kind of methodology to collect my data. So I have. I distributed a survey, and I conducted a semi-structured interviews, and I'm doing content analysis. So today I will share a little bit from the three types of data to make you understand how the faith people of faith see the situation in Jordan. So if I start with the survey, it was filled by 70, so it was directed mainly to the theology students or people of faith. So it wasn't general. So it was, for example, the Sharia faculty, which is the Muslim Islamic theology, and the Christian theology also students. So the survey was filled by 70 people. 61% male and 39% female, 50% of the sample in the age group between 18 and 25. And there are 70% Muslims and 30% Christian. The Christian sample were 4% Orthodox, 6% Catholic, and the rest are Protestant or Anglican. There are 44% students, 11% imams, and 6% priests. So I asked them the first question, if they think that the problem, to what extent they think that the water crisis in Jordan is a serious problem. And 40% they said it is like a very serious problem. 44 they said it is a problem, and interestingly enough, 5% they believe that it's not a problem. I asked them how do they evaluate the public awareness of the problem, and if 45% they believe it's poor, and 47% they believe it's fair, and 8% they believe it is very good. I asked them then, did you personally involve in any project aims to increase the public awareness from faith, of course, perspective? 11% said yes, and 88% they said no. They never involved in any project related to water. I asked them, do you believe, and this is the most important question for me, do you believe that religion anyway has any impact on people's behavior? 60% said, although again, reminding you, I'm speaking about faith, people who are theologians, only 60% who said yes, and the rest said no. They don't believe that religion impacts on people's behavior. Then I asked them, who do you think is responsible of increasing the public awareness of the people? 45%, and I give them list of bodies possibly to see who and ask them to rank it. So it was the government, educators and teachers, the water companies, activists, faith leaders, and media. 45% of them, they choose they give the government is number one responsible for that, and 27% thought that the educators came as kind of number two, and interestingly enough that it is only they put the faith leaders. It's only 21%, which is the highest number for faith leaders, and it is under the media, like in the bottom of the rank. So even people of faith, they thought that faith leader has the least role in this issue. Then I asked them, do you believe that what have been done is enough? 29% said yes, and 70% said no. And then the last question, do you think what have been done anyway has made any difference? Only like 1/3 said yes, and 2/3 said no. Now I will move to the semi-structured interview, which hopefully you will see that there is a kind of not big difference, but there's really a difference in their answers and responses, almost to the same set of questions. So in the semi-structured interview, I interviewed 14 faith leaders, 11 Muslims and 3 Christians. Although these kind of numbers reflect the percentage of Muslims and Christian in Jordan, because Muslim in Jordan around 95% and Christian 4%. But I wasn't hoping just to interview only 3 Christian faith leaders. I really wanted to interview, let's say half, like 50, like half of the Muslim sample. But it was, and this is one of the very interesting things I faced in my research. It was almost an impossible mission to make a faith leader, Christian faith leader in Jordan, agree to be interviewed. They declined the invitation, like a formal invitation. I mean, through recommendations of a friend, and contacting him by email or by phone, and it was very, very difficult for them to speak about it. So, but the three Christians I spoke with, they are all of them Anglican. I couldn't speak with any Catholic or Orthodox Christian. The Muslim, they are all, of course, Sunni Muslims. They are all academics, PhD holders. They are all, almost all of them works in a university, and some of them, in addition to their job in a university, they have a governmental position, either in the Ministry of Endowment or in the Da'at al-Ifta, which is the I don't know, like the institution responsible of issuing legal Islamic opinion for things. So they kind of works in a high positions. One of the people he is in a rank of a minister. He's not a minister, but in a rank of a minister. So I asked my interviewee if to what extent they believe that the problem, the water issue in Jordan is a problem, and 100% of them said it is a problem, and they used the word crisis, catastrophe, very serious, emergency, and existential problem. I asked them to what extent you evaluate the public awareness of the problem. Muslim said 64% of the Muslims said it is poor. 76% of the Christians say it's poor. And they commented on that. They told me that the people are indifferent, careless, not convinced, and doubtful. So even when they listen to the messages from the government, they don't really take it in a serious way. I asked them if they are personally involved in any project aiming to increase the public awareness of the water awareness. And the Muslim, 100% of the Muslims said yes, and they work with GIZ, or they work with a project within their own universities, or the ministries they work in. The Christian, 2/3 of them, they said yes, they do, but in a kind of more personal initiative, and 1/3 said they don't. I asked both sides if they are aware of what the other faith is doing towards the same issue. The 90% of the Muslim, they say that they know that the Christian is doing something, and they also work with the GIZ, but they don't know what exactly they are doing. And interestingly enough, 100% of the Christians, they said they have no idea what the Muslims are doing. Then I asked them if they think that religion, the same question I asked in the survey, do you think religion have any impact on people's behavior? Muslims said, 100% of Muslims said yes, and 100% of the Christians said no. They say it is not their job, it's a government job, and that it's morality things, whether like you have a faith or you don't have faith, it's, you should do the right thing. And also I asked them to rank the same 6 categories, who is responsible for increasing the public awareness. And although 100% of the Muslims said faith has a big influence on people's life, they choose the government as number one role and they put also the faith leaders in the bottom of the rank, which is very very interesting. Also, 2/3 of the Christians believe that the government is the most responsible of this job. I asked them, do you believe, do you think that the efforts has been done is enough? Muslims said, sorry, yeah, is it enough? They said they need more funding, they need, things needs more time, they need more collaboration with the government, which is all challenging in Jordan. And the Christian re-emphasize the same point that it's not their job anyway. Then I asked them if what have been done is made any impact on the society. Muslims said to a certain extent, but things needs time. They need a research to study that, yeah, so they were hopeful actually, but the Christian 100% said no. I asked them, both of them, Muslims and Christian, about when they are speaking with it, because many of them said they are involved personally in projects related to aiming to increase the public awareness of the problem. And better to improve the efficiency of using water. So I said, what kind of themes you talk about? Do you speak about? So in my mind, I thought that a convincing message should be talking about the problem, how the problem happened, what is the current situation, and if we take action, we will reach this point. If we don't take action, we will reach this point, and then give guidance how to improve the situation. However, this is nothing near what is happening. There is nothing like that at all. They don't talk about the reasons at all. They don't. Yes, there is some kind of. It's the government who gives the kind of a general idea about statistics and numbers and about the current situation, but they don't really clarify to what extent it is really dangerous if the country continue in the same way. But what I will start with the Christian first. When I tell them, they said normally, if any, in the churches, if they will speak about the water topic, they will speak about stewardship, creation, importance of water, and about ethical issues like not about stealing water or not paying bills. However, Muslims were more detailed. And I tried to put their answer under a number of titles. So one of them is behavioral. The messages around the behavior, so about how to using the water, preserving the water, conserving the water. So there was lots of Islamic teaching around these topics. They talk also, the other category could be ethical. So they speak about the pollution, Islamic perspectives of pollution, stealing, illegal connection, damaging pipes, and these kind of stuff. And they also speak about water and the rituals, about wudu, which is the daily washing, and ghusl, which is the bathing, about the types of water, what is pure and what is impure. And also they are encouraging people to give charity and water in charity and water endowment. So this takes us to the third type of data coming from the content analysis. So those two groups, GIZ, also part of their project is she asked the faith leaders, both Muslims and Christian, to write a book from Islamic perspective and a book from Christian perspective about water. So I looked through both books. So the Christian one was authored by 6 mainly, I think, I'm not sure if they are all of them, but I believe all of them are Catholic fathers. And the book is kind of booklet more than a book, very short, and they wrote the name of the sixth author in the beginning, so it's not like, you know, you don't know who wrote what, you know. And what they wrote in that document, they wrote about water in the Bible, water from a Christian theological perspective, water and rituals, and they wrote about water in the church documents. This is the things they wrote in their book. The Muslim book was authored by 4 academics, and the 4 are all of them from my interviewee, the people I interviewed, and each one of them wrote a chapter in that book. And actually it matched exactly what the interviewee were telling me, the same categories. So they spoke about the importance of water, the resources of water, the types of water, the ownership of water, stealing, pollution, overuse. They spoke on rights and duties towards the water and rituals. So this is also the content of the Muslim book. So finally, I just will say, like, to try to evaluate kind of what they've done against this list of faith leaders. So if we look, what is the faith leader role in general, we can put them under these 5 titles, like education, advocacy, role modeling, community engagement, and spiritual guidance. So did the faith leaders in Jordan engage with the education? Yes, to a certain extent, but I don't think it is enough. So yes, for example, those who are having access to these books or academic research is too very, very limited. Some of them, they also do videos, and I'm not sure, I don't have any statistics to how many times it is watched. And they are trying also, if I'm linking the education with the spiritual guidance in the Friday prayer, the government, they have to speak about water once, I think every 6 months or once a year. So they also embed this kind of messages in the Friday sermon. Advocacy, some of them, they advocate in behalf of the government to promote certain policies or behaviors which the governments want the people to comply with. Role modeling, I believe many of them, they speak with their own students or in the mosque about how to reduce the wastewater and how to, you know, so to a certain extent they are possibly role modeling. Community engagement, I didn't find any other than the kind of informal or personal initiative, people who try to do something with his students or in the university or in his local community in the mosque, but there is nothing more organized or in the community, in the society as a whole. There is unfortunately no community engagement, for example, to bring both Muslims and Christians together, or to, you know, to do it in a more interactive way. So is the efforts done by the faith leader, is enough in Jordan? The data don't support this hypothesis. I think there is many things done, and there is a progress, but it's very it's far less than what is needed. And I think the amount of efforts and number of involved people from the faith leader needs to be scaled up in order to see a real difference in the society. And thank you.
Thank you.